Hi friends, in this video tutorial we are going to discuss how to create a simple program that will print hello world in this console. It is very important. No matter how tiny video game you are designing or a vast complex video game you are designing, console is going to help you in lots of cases. Okay, so let's see how to do that. First, what we are going to do, we have to understand anything that goes inside scene is an object. Okay, so we have to create a simple object. How to do that? Right click inside hierarchy window, then 3D object, then go to 3D object, then select cube. Once you create a cube, see this cube appears inside this game scene. You can move this cube by clicking left button of your mouse and just drag. If you drag this yellow arrow, then it will move in this axis. If you drag blue arrow, then it will move in this axis, and if you drag this arrow, then it will move upward axis. Okay, now this red arrow is x axis. If you are holding this red arrow, it means you are going to drag in the x axis. If you are holding this blue arrow and dragging, then it means you are dragging in z axis. If you are holding this green arrow and dragging upward or downward, it means you are dragging in z axis. Now the position detail of this cube is appearing here. Look here, here is a cube object, and this cube object has five components. The first component is transform component, the second component is cube mesh filter component, the third component is box collider component, the fourth component is mesh renderer component, the fifth component is default material component. What are all these components? We are going to discuss in detail in future, but for now keep in mind the transform component tells us its position. It is saying us the object is currently located at 0.02 in the x axis, 0.23 in the y axis, and minus 0.16 in the z axis, right? We can set to 0 just by clicking here and click reset. It will position this object at 000 coordinate. Below it is saying this object is rotated 0 degree in x axis, 0 degree in y axis, 0 degree in z axis, and it is also saying that the object is scaled 1 in x axis, scaled 1 in y axis, and scaled 1 in z axis. Okay friends, keep this important point in your mind. Only a object we can add into a game scene. If we want to add anything that is other than object, then we have to pass it as an component. If we want to practice C# programming basis, we need to create a C# file. So C# file is not an object. It means we can't create a C# file inside this hierarchy window. What we need to do, we need to create a C# file here, and we can attach C# file as a component of this object cube. We can also attach the C# file with directional light as a component or main camera as a component, but for now, for practice purpose, we are going to attach the C# script file with this cube. Remember one important thing, you cannot attach a C# script file with any game object, because the C# script is going to create a required result on the object it is attached. Okay, it means if I attach a C# file to cube, then it is not going to create any effect on directional light or main camera. If I want certain kind of functionality for the camera, then I need to create a separate C# file and attach to the main camera. Keep this important point in your mind. Okay, now let's create a C# file. How we are going to create a C# file? Very easy. Come to the assets folder. Now here right click and go to create, then select C# script. Once you create, here a file icon appears. Now the name of the file is highlighted. What it is saying? It is saying to assign a new name. You can assign any name, but keep in mind, assign a name which you can easily understand. Okay, and another important point, you cannot keep a space or special characters in a file name, and the first character of a C# file should always be in capital. Keep this point in mind. Now I'm going to remove this highlighted name. All I have to do is press delete on the keyboard. Now see, it is removed, and I can assign a name. I'm going to use test script, TEST SCRIPT. Now press enter. Now this file has a name called test script, which you can see here. Friends, one thing I want you to notice, and that is I have made the first letter of the second word capital. By this, any other programmer can easily understand that these are two different words, as there are no space is allowed in the name. That's why I followed this kind of approach. By this, a different developer can easily understand that the file name is test script. It is easy to read, okay? And whenever you assign a file name, always keep the first letter in capital, okay? Now we have created a C# file. Now the question is how we are going to attach to this cube. All we have to do is just click and drag onto the cube object. And if I select cube, now it is showing the test script. Let me show you again. So I am going to remove this test script. How I am going to remove this test script? Click here. Now there is called remove component. As I have said, anything that is attached to a game object is a component. Now here the test script is a component. I am going to click remove component. There are certain default component attached to a game object cannot remove. Okay, keep this point in mind. Now remove component. See, this component is removed. Let's try again. I am going to drag on this cube. While dragging, be very careful. If it mistakenly lands on other game object, then the script is going to create the same kind of result on that other game objects, which may result your video game to function in a different way. So be careful while dragging the C# script onto the game object. Be very careful and be sure it is not attached to any other game object, and it is very easy to check out. All you have to do is select cube. Now it is showing test script. Select directional light. It means we have not mistakenly attached the script file, and also check main camera. No, there is no file. Okay, nice. Now our C# script is attached to the cube. Now we need to open this C# script. How we are going to open this C# script? You can open this C# script by two ways. The first one is double click on this file. It will open. Otherwise, you can select cube and go to this test script component and double click here. It will also open. Either way, you can open a test script file. The C# file which I have created is opened now, and you can see there are certain codes. What these codes mean, we are going to discuss in another tutorial. But for now, keep this point in your mind. These codes are provided by Unity, and these codes have certain aim. That's why they are present here. We are going to discuss in detail about these codes as we proceed. But for now, remember, these are default codes that Unity is providing. Now you must be wondering why these fonts are so large. These fonts are large because I have set these fonts that you can see easily. Okay, don't worry for this now. Now go back to Unity. Okay, another important point, when you open a test script, it is not going to open inside your Unity, but it is going to open inside another development tool, and that is called another development environment, that is called Monodevelop. Okay, if you look here, it is saying Monodevelop Unity. Okay, this is a integrated development environment. It is going to help you coding. Keep this point in mind. Now back to Unity. If you look here, in previous tutorial I have said which scene is open. How you are going to know? The name of the current open scene is going to appear here. Okay, now notice there is a star mark beside to the current scene name. Why there is a star mark? This star mark is saying we have modified our game, but we have not saved. So whenever you see a star mark, always save. So how we are going to save? Go to file, click save scenes. Otherwise you can press Command S if you are using Mac. Otherwise you can use Control S if you are using Windows. Okay, I'm going to use Command S and see the star will disappear. Now the scene is saved. No matter how good computer system you are using, always save your game frequently, because at any moment your program may crash and all the change data you may lose. That's why this is a good practice to save your current project frequently. Okay friends, now let's practice a simple program. We want to print hello world into this console. So how we are going to do this? First remove this code. Check these two chain brackets are present. Okay, now in between this chain bracket type void start double bracket then double chain bracket. Remember, C# programs are case sensitive. It means if a function name begins with capital, then you have to begin that function with exact name with exact case attributes, otherwise it will show error. Now what is this? This is a start function. What is a function? We are going to discuss in detail, but remember, a function returns a desired result. Start function is a function provided by Unity engine, and this is the function that is called at the beginning of the game when it starts. It means start function is called only once. Remember this important point. What is void? We are going to discuss in future tutorial, but for now you must change this code this way for practice purpose, and we are going to use this function in our rest of tutorials. We have understood that start is a function that is called at the beginning of the game begins. When the game begins, the first function is called start. Now we want to print a message into the console. So what we are going to do? We are going to use a function that is provided by Unity engine, and that is debug.log and the message, and the message is hello world. Now when I type here hello world, there is a red mark is appearing. Why it is appearing? I am going to show you. Let's first save this. How we are going to know that this script is not saved? If you look here, there is a circle. It is saying that this script has some changes, but it is not saved yet. So first save this C# file, Command S, Control S in Windows. Okay, now this file is saved because there is showing a cross mark. Okay, now back to Unity and see here the error message is appearing. It is saying testscript.cs 8 is the line number. It is saying in the 8th line there is some error which says unexpected symbol world. Why it is saying? First we have to figure out the 8th line. The 8th line is this line, and it is saying there is a unidentified word world. Why it is saying? It is saying because we are passing a text information inside this debug.log function. So in programming language we cannot pass a text information this way. To tell a program that this is a text information, we need to use double inverted comma. Okay friends, now by using double inverted comma we have said this function that this is just text information. Okay, now save this. Always save and run a program. Okay, script is saved. Let's back to Unity, and now see the error is going to disappear. See, the error is disappeared. Now I want to see the result here. So what I need to do? I have to click this play button. Once I play, see hello world is printing here. Okay. So this much for this tutorial. Now in next video tutorial we are going to discuss various kind of data we deal in programming, a very important topic. Allow me friends, I am going to meet you in next video tutorial. Thank you.